Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Brad Lee is dropping
what it is. Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a badass all the way from España. Sergio Bruna. What's going on?
Eso, you said it right, man.
That's right.
I am so stoked. I'm so happy and grateful and honored about the fact that you gave me some time in your studio. As you know, I'm a big fan of yours. And not only because I think you're the coolest guy I've ever seen on stage, but because...
We'll give him a bomb.
That deserves one. But beyond that, I love your business. I love that you were the pioneer and that you're the best at it ever in history. So I really like what you do, what you represent, and the tool that you're making available for people to acquire education through.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, man.
It's a big compliment coming from you.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're making money, changing lives, adding value. What else do you want? Like, that's, in my opinion, that's a life well lived. And I want you to know that your example has personally inspired me.
Wow.
So keep rocking, man. Keep rocking, because we need you kicking ass.
I'm going to do that. Dude, now I see why they got you as the face of Chevy.
That's right, dude.
What do you talk during the commercials?
Absolutely.
What do you say?
Everything. So when I do the spots for Chevy, and by the way, I got that gig over 3,000 people. Because the creative director of the ad company saw me on stage speaking at the LA Convention Center, and he told me, "Dude, if you can, if I can capture what I just witnessed, I mean, you're the man for the job." So it's pretty improvised. They're not scripted commercials. It's the biggest campaign in the Spanish market in history.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been going at it for 6 years now, and for me, it's a big privilege and honor to represent General Motors worldwide in the Spanish market. I love the company and who they are, and again, it's something like really, really, really big for me. But
that's not all you do, though.
No.
What else you do?
So I'm a sales guy at heart. I'm a sales guy. I'm a closer.
Dude, and by the way, everybody's a salesperson. You know the difference between good salespeople and bad salespeople?
Tell me.
The bad salespeople don't know they're salespeople.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, because the good ones know that they're doing it, and they know that there's skills, and they've learned them, and they practice them, and they implement them, and they claim it, and they own it. The bad ones don't. So there's people literally saying, "Oh, I hate salespeople," or "I could never be a salesperson," and they don't realize they are a salesperson. Everyone's a salesperson. We're selling people the day we're born.
You know what you just said made a lot of sense. The doctor or the lawyer that understands they are a salesperson first and they know the cycle and how it works, they're going to close their prospects and get more business.
Absolutely. Most people don't even realize there are steps. It's like if you're going to go fight, right? Let's say you're getting into the octagon MMA fight. You have never went to one gym, learned one move, and you're in there with an expert. What do you think is going to happen?
The expert is going to destroy you.
He's going to destroy your ass. And you're going to get in arm locks and wrist locks and shit that you couldn't even defend if you tried. And it's only because you don't know how. That's what the same thing is with sales. Sales can be learned, mastered, and implemented to enhance all areas of your life, not just your job, not just selling something, but selling somebody on your vision, your wants and needs, your values, your opinions. You could sell your kids on getting better grades. You could sell your spouse on being, more loving, or whatever the case is. So the fundamental skill set that comes with a salesperson, I think, increases your advantage to success tenfold.
Yeah. Every area of your life.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, once you understand the art of persuading and influencing, and I love to call it the sales cycle, right? Creating the need of creating a problem, bringing a solution to that problem, and creating urgency to act now will pretty much allow you to close every deal, right? And we can do that with everybody around us. Just to give you an example, now that you got me thinking about doctors, a doctor that can convince a family that he is the best person to take care of their health and adds value to the proposition by sharing, this is my education, but this is who I am as a human being. These are my facilities. This is my staff. This is how I'm going to make myself available to you. It's like, listen, your family's health and well-being should be the most important thing to you. And there's nobody else better positioned than me to take care of it. Like if a doctor understood that every time a new family comes in, right, if they treated the pitch that way, dude, they'll get everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And they'll feel good about it.
Yeah.
Doctors don't do that, though.
Nope.
They don't think they're salespeople.
Exactly.
And they don't know how to do it,
They're
which is why they're
arrogant
not
and
doing
cocky.
it, which is why they're making a fraction of what they could be. Even if they're making $30 million a year, if you're not implementing sales ability, making $30 million a year, it just means you're losing $60 million that you could be making. Because anyone does that shit, they're going to improve. Chiropractors, doctors, dentists, cosmetic surgeons, doesn't matter. So tell me, you said you're going to be dropping some serious freaking bombs. I want you to I'm going to give you the microphone and just have you start just dropping them. Carpet bomb their asses. Bomb Squad's a bunch of people. Like I've got very successful people listening to the podcast. I've also got people just starting and struggling. So at the end of the day, dude, the bombs we drop can fit any category. So the guest never really tries to think, well, what do they want to hear? What have you learned in life that if you could go back and do it over, what would you take with you to accelerate your ability to win?
Okay, so there's a few things there. So first of all, you wanted me to just tell you a little bit of my journey I got and add value just by sharing my story. Also, you just mentioned, hey, if I could go back, what I would do different is I would have removed. It's taken me 20 years to remove fear as an ingredient of the formula of living life.
Yeah.
I would have been less afraid. I would have, because I've done it anyway. I've done it anyway. I would have just not carry the bag of fear, which consumes you and poisons you. So that is one thing that I would have done. And I would have just started early because I got my act together at the age of 30. I've always done really well, but at the age of 30, 32, it's when I I have a duty towards my family, myself. I want to, honor the...
What about before that?
Oh, I was a mess.
Yeah, see, that's weird because that's what I say too. Like about 30 years old is when I just kind of woke up and said, shit, I'm being an idiot. Yeah. And that's really when it all started, which in 20 years I've done pretty well. But man, what if we'd have started at 20?
Yeah, man. It's unbelievable. But you see, that's why I believe so much in the products your company helps develop and caters to the world. Imagine, right now we have many options. We have you, right? We have Grant, we have Damon John, we have Gary V. There's all this. Imagine if you and I, when we were 19, 20 years old, we would have gotten access to these tools, right? We would have killed it. But we didn't have access to mentors. It was, I grew up alone.
Yeah.
I grew up, I grew up without a father. My mom had to literally have 2 jobs to take care of 3 boys. I didn't like my environment. And I think the smartest thing I ever did was to quit school at 14. I'm not telling people, hey, dude, quit school. But for me, school was not working. I was questioning my teachers. I was not inspired by them. And the whole process. So I stopped going to school at 14. I spent a year, I don't want to call it on the street, but I was going to cafes, to libraries, just getting educated on the subjects that really interested me. I knew really instinctively that sales and communication was the thing that was going to give me the life that I always wanted. So I started studying psychology, the old school books of selling.
Yeah.
And I started selling at the age of 15. So when I was 15 years old, I told my Mama, I don't want to be a victim of my environment. I don't like it here. This is not good for me. I want to go. I want to start working.
Where were you?
I was in Spain at the time.
Pamplona?
No, Pamplona is a place we've developed to have silly people come in and run behind bulls. I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed. The Spaniards don't run in front of the bulls. We're on the windows looking at everything.
I'm going to go run with the bulls, but I'm not going to do the bull thing. I'll stand in the safe spots.
Exactly.
I'll watch them run by.
And have a laugh.
Yeah, because do people get killed doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what about the tomato fight? Isn't there a tomato fight there too?
Exactly. Spain is such a medieval country. I love Spain, the culture, and the food is great. But man, I look back after having spent 20 years in the US, and it's a pretty medieval country as far as the customs, right? Like there's a town in Spain that every year they throw a goat out of the top of a church just because, to its death. Like people still do that, seriously. In Spain, there's a town that does that, the tomato fight and the running with the bulls. And
they'll throw a goat out of a church?
at the top of a church.
What's the point?
I know. Because probably that's what people did 400 or 500 years ago. People are conditioned, man. People are conditioned.
Yeah, but they've got the beautiful ladies in Spain.
There's beautiful girls in Spain, that's for sure.
Yes, they do.
They have character.
What about Ibiza?
Ibiza. Yeah, that's
a party?
The mecca of the fiesta.
Does everybody go there?
Oh yeah.
Is it packed?
It's Europe's playground. I mean, Ibiza, it's a gorgeous island that has some of the most incredible clubs there for nightlife on the planet. Pacha, you have all these clubs that can house 3,000 people with multi-million-dollar sound and lighting systems. And the thing about Ibiza is it's sophisticated. It's in the middle of the Mediterranean. And when you go to party or you go to have dinner, literally, you're going to be sitting down next to people from Argentina, England, the Netherlands, Russia. So it's very culturally rich speaking. In fact, tourism, it's a very, very big source of revenue for Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the number one spot to go if I'm going to go over there? Because I'm going to. Where would you have me go?
To Ibiza.
No, to Spain.
To Spain, Madrid. Madrid is majestic. People talk about Barcelona. Barcelona is okay. It's like Santa Monica. You've been in Santa Monica? You've been in Barcelona. All these buildings, right? Madrid is majestic. And from Madrid, you can go to Toledo, which is an incredible old town that is so charming. The thing about Spain is you can go anywhere in 3 hours in a train, right? So it's it's half of the size of California.
So you were living there, and you told your mom, "I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sell shit."
Yeah.
What'd you sell?
So I went to Mexico City, of all places. So I went to Mexico City, and I started.
Why there?
Because I loved it. One good thing that I did, that somebody gave me the gift of, is I got to travel a little bit when I was a young kid. When I was 9, I spent a summer in France. When I was 10, I spent 4 months in England. And that impacted me because I came back to Spain saying, hey, there is something else out there. My life does not need to be this. And I went to Mexico as well. And I just fell in love with Mexico, the culture. And I said, like, listen, man, I feel that in that place, I can offer something different. And as a result, get something back.
Yeah.
So I got to Mexico, and I started selling taximeters, electronic taximeters to taxi drivers. I was upgrading their product. Then I got into LED signs, timeshare, advertising. I got into the club business. When I was 21, when I was 20, I put some money together, and I decided to come to the United States to open a VoIP type business, voice over internet protocol. Basically what we know today as Skype. We were offering a similar service 20 years ago. And,
wow.
Yeah, and I thought I was going to be a billionaire by the age of 23.
You probably should have been. What'd you do wrong?
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do business in the United States. Completely different. Also, the technology couldn't back up the claims we were making. DSL back then wasn't what it was.
A little too new.
Exactly. We were ahead of the game.
Because I started this company 20 years ago, and everybody told me no one's ever going to train online.
Dude.
And I'm like, yes, they will. It's got to be. It's smarter, better, faster, stronger. Makes sense. You can track everything, and now look, it's growing 3 times over the next 3 years. This industry will explode 300%.
Absolutely, and big part of, besides that, you can safely and securely house your customers' info, data, and content, right? So they can market it or share it or monetize it. I think that something that's yet to be exploited in your business is the bigger organizations, including governments, referring to the education system. Meaning, if you can position yourself in front of the decision maker and show them how you can remove the headache of actually putting this content together, and you do it, and not only you publish it but produce it, people are going to cut you some big checks, because this for it's for the companies that invest in it is 100% deductible, and it's going to increase production, and like you said, the progress can be tracked. So I think that nobody's seen yet the best of Lightspeed. I can smell it, I can taste it, and that's why in a way I'm so attracted to it. Because I mean, this is great. And I was with a friend. We were looking at the other options in a similar space, and dude, there's such a the second one, it's so way below. Like, there's nothing comparable to it. So I think that you can do something really, really, really massive. And look at where the world is going. People are too busy. Traffic is getting worse every year, and people are making less money, and competition is higher, meaning people need to train, acquire more skills, and they need to do that now in order to be ahead of the game on their own time.
Yeah, 100%.
So they're going to, listen, how I see it is it's cheaper and more effective to acquire a course through your platform than to go to college.
Yeah.
Renting an apartment, transportation, the amount of hours, right, that you're there.
Well, I'll give you an example. You went to this conference yesterday. Yeah. Who'd you hear speak?
So I heard a bunch of people.
Name some.
Cole.
Can you name them all?
Yeah. Forbes.
Can you name them all?
I don't know all of them.
But you saw them all.
Yes.
Which is what I keep telling people. See, some people think that's training. You can't even remember everyone you saw, let alone everything that they said. Wouldn't it be more valuable if you didn't have to rent a hotel room, you didn't have to sit in this audience, you didn't have to buy all this food, and you could have those people at your beck and call 24/7 for the repetition it requires to actually learn? Now, some people would argue, well, it's the people that I meet. Right, so you should still go to conferences, but don't go to conferences to actually learn, because you don't learn at a conference. You pick some shit up, but if you want to go deeper and actually master the skill sets of those people, you get their course, or you go coach with them one-on-one. It's not something you did, it's something you do. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I want to change education to where, the content adapts to the student, because right now it's the same curriculum for everybody. They don't care who you are. I want you to help me figure out how to get into the Latin-speaking countries. Maybe we make Lightspeed VT Latin America, and you run that.
In Espanol, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that the up-and-coming speakers in the Latin industry need to be exposed to and understand that by being part of your platform, not only they're going to securely be able to run their business, because these people don't think that somebody can hack you, that the network can go down. And there can be, speakers don't think about these things. Hey, you do the big engagement, you did the big investment, the ad buying, and then there's 500 people attempting to buy your program at the same time, and they can't because the network gets clogged. Like, what a disservice, right? So besides all that, I think that what you could offer to these people is your advice, your counseling, your network. Having access to you, dude, is worth $1 billion, because the people the introductions you can make, and I think you are going to have the biggest conference on the planet. I think you can do something a lot bigger, sexier, and better organized than, for example, 10X.
Sure.
For real. Like, I see who you're rolling with, and just seeing you on stage yourself, dude. Like, yesterday, and I told you, I saw everyone on stage, right? I like Cole a lot. I appreciated Cole's finesse to close the deal. Like, I saw, and I identified the process when he was planting the seeds, creating the right associations, then the comebacks, then going for I appreciated his finesse, but you dominated the day, like, hands down. First of all, you were there to add value. You dominated. You were funny. You were energetic. You were charismatic. It was me that I was in the back all day, such a breath of fresh air. When you came on, you were funny. You were cool, not arrogant. You were confident. And I like that. You were there really to add value. You didn't have an agenda like everybody else did. And as a result, you ended up as the winner.
Do you think everyone would agree with that?
Oh, for sure. If they have 2 fingers of forehead, meaning a brain, 100%. It was undeniable, man. Like we felt it. And even though nobody got all the jokes, and that hurt me because they were so good, right? Like nobody had but dude, that is something that I didn't know about you. You're a funny dude. You're an entertainer. That's the thing. A lot of people, they speak and you can see the formula. You were so comfortable on stage, just owning it. And you were speaking from your heart and just adding value. And I think that was great. One thing that I got is I've made a lot of mistakes, and we don't need to go into my life. I've done a lot of stuff after that actually, that's when my business failed, is when I really got my game on and I started achieving success. But before talking about all that, what I got from you, that when the nugget, the bomb, what hits you here, like I think I held my breath after you dropped that nugget for like 2 minutes because it made me think so much. What you have mastered that I want to get exposed to and acquire is your capacity to not give a fuck. And I think that's what's taking you to the next level and makes you who you are. And in a way, in a friend way, I'm going to use the word attractive. Like, I think that's what makes people be drawn to you, is because you really, truly, honestly don't give a fuck. I was looking back, and the biggest mistake that I've made in the past since I got my act together is that I've spent money, stupid amounts of money, in stupid things that I don't even have. And that is one thing I would like to change. And I'm actually consciously changing this year. Thankfully, I have several sources of revenue. Cash flow is very healthy. And I don't want to be the guy that changes that when he went bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
So, but I look back and I've done some really stupid things that
we all have, haven't we?
Dude.
Did you hear what I said on stage? I said, dude, if I had all the money I spent trying to impress people, it would impress people.
That was brilliant. That was one of the right. It was great. That was great. You see, that you got me thinking. You made me change the way that I think really highly of myself. You got to me and made me see there's so much more things I can improve. And that's adding value, man. You didn't sell me anything, but guess what's the first thing I did after you got off stage?
What?
I bought your program. And I sent you a screenshot.
I saw it.
I didn't ask you, hey, dude,
Closer
can you hook
School.
me up? I got Closer School, $397 one time. Are you kidding me?
Not only that, but it's going to be constantly going on for life. So in other words, I drop in the studio over here, I'll drop course after course after course.
You're going to keep adding content to it?
Forever. So like it'll never go away. And I'll never charge anyone else again. When you log in, then go to the training center, you'll start to see the little, hand holding, and you'll be explained what it is. But it's probably the best value on the internet if you're in sales and closing, because I'm not just going to be in there on my own. I'll have people, I'll have experts, because you'll know shit that people will hear. Maybe we know the same thing, but you say it differently. And that's what resonates with people. See, that's what people don't understand when you got the Grant Cardones and the Brad Lees and the freaking, even Zig Ziglar. Like, we all are saying pretty much the same shit.
Yeah.
It's how are you saying it, and does it resonate with somebody? If I come off too bold, somebody's going to be turned off and not pick it up. Where someone else, if you came off too timid, they wouldn't pick it up. So everyone's got their style, but there are secrets out there. You know things that would help people.
Absolutely.
You need a VT in order to take your knowledge and get it to the people that need it and want it. Not to mention, I don't know of a bunch of I'm not in the Latino communities all day long, although my grandmother is pure Spanish. But I think that there needs to be a Latino leader rise up. Who are the Latino Tony Robbinses?
You're looking at it.
Is there any other one?
Nope. There's nobody established.
So is that what you're about to go smack down?
Absolutely. So the program that I'm putting together, that I'm gonna share to with my community worldwide. Again, Spanish being the second most spoken language in the world after
Soon to be
Mandarin
first.
Chinese. Yeah, it's the biggest growing demographic in the United States for sure. Is I'm putting together a tool that is a combination of sales, marketing, which I'm a pro at. I'm actually the best in my industry. I've gotten top national producer here in the United States. So I do, besides doing television, entertainment, I was the creator, producer, writer, and host of the first late night talk show in the US in Spanish. So I saw this is after my business fell, I saw that nobody was doing this because I wanted to change a little bit of the industry. Big fan of comedy. That's why I appreciated your lines, man, because it's very difficult and it's the timing. It's like, dude, there's finesse into it. So I appreciate it a lot. So being a big fan of comedy, I saw that nobody was, taking advantage of a model that's proven to be successful all over the world for so long. So this is prior to Instagram, Facebook. There was none of that. I wrote a treatment and I started hitting companies and television networks left and right. Long story short, after a year and a half and over 150 no's, I got a licensing fee deal with the second largest producer of Spanish content in the world. And my television show, El Pelado de la Noche, went nationwide on primetime at 10 p.m. And that is a big, it's one of my biggest successes just because it was something that I really wanted. I had my moment. Hey, dude, if you could, and I think this is so important, everybody should do it. If you could design your life, forget about just money. Believe that money is going to be part of it. If you could design your life tomorrow, meaning how would you like to live your life? Spend your time. Once I had the answer, which was me producing and hosting this late night talk show, I look at myself in the mirror and I said, dude, you have a mission right now to go after it with everything you have. So I went at it with everything that I had. And like I said, we went nationwide prime time. But what I love about it is that so many people, man, like CEOs of the biggest television networks in the nation told me, listen, man, I really like you, Sergio. I really like what you represent, your energy. You remind me like myself when I was young, but just quit. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you, Sergio, nobody's doing it for a reason. You're also too tall, too bold, too Spanish. Seriously. And to go home to tell your wife, I failed again at this dream that and the decision maker and most respected authority in the industry has told me that it's not going to work out. That was hard. But that's what I think it built me. And my biggest, my favorite quote, if you will, is a winner is nothing more than a loser that's tried it one more time, right? And you have
it's true.
Yeah.
I'll give that a bomb.
Dude. And that's not mine. Probably I phrased it that way, but I got that from Colonel Sanders, right? Edison. I mean, the list is endless. And probably you are also an example of that, but that's what people need to understand. You become an expert in the process. The art, Brad, in my opinion, is to not quit. Period. End of story. People don't even give themselves the chance and the opportunity to attempt something great because they're conditioned. Now I'm going to drop a few lines of my seminar. I believe that we all live in a jail we have created ourselves, which is the product of self-deprecating thoughts and limiting beliefs that comes from our school, teachers, our own parents. Don't blame your parents, man. They had even less idea and access to knowledge like us. But that's that's the core of my program, right? So even though I'm a pro closer and a sales master, recruiter, trainer, I understand that in order for me, which by the way, I've developed the biggest leaders in my industry, in history, I need to start there. Like in order, it's like, listen, man, first I need to remove the beliefs that you have of yourself, that you're not good enough and great enough. You have all the potential in the world.
That's how Closer School starts, by the way.
Really? I bought it last night, so that's why I haven't even, really?
Yeah.
So great minds think alike.
Well, that's true, because if you don't have the right mindset, you're screwed.
Yeah. So
keep going.
Yeah. So that's
and by the way, what time do you have to get back to that conference?
Yeah. So I have 10 more minutes.
Okay, let's go.
Are you good with 10 more minutes?
Yep. Only if you do the talking.
Yeah, 100%. So that's, the core of my program is that, first of all, I help individuals to remove the weights that they carry that prevent them from flying high. And so it's very motivational. There's a lot of a big self-development ingredient to it. And then I take them through the art of getting your way in life, by closing deals. So I dissect the psychology of the buyer, the psychology of the salesperson. I dissect the cycle of the sales, what to say, what not to say. I discuss in-depth tonality that I think nobody's really getting into, the mannerisms, the energy, the voice, right? It all has to do. We all know that, in a fraction of a second, people already form an idea of who we are. So it's so important the way you clean your feet before you go into a customer's home in front of them, so they can see that you're somebody that cares. The way that you smile at them in a kind way and shake their hand firmly, right? Like, it's a process that I've put together, which, by the way, it's the product not of seminars, my own experience. I closed over 2,000 deals. Do you know what it is? 2,000 signatures, pitches? Probably 5,000 pitches in order to close 2,000 deals. Man, that's years, right? So I've put together that program that I'm going to be launching to the Spanish market through your platform, obviously. What else? And that's big a part of who I am. But I wanted to go back to the not giving a fuck, because I think that, to me, it's like, it's the thing that's going to change my life the most and take it to the next level. And I wanted to thank you for that, because I look back and the mistakes that I've made, they all go to the fact that I care too much of what people thought of me. That's why I bought 5 cars. Like, who needs 5 cars, man?
Yeah.
Right? When I didn't have money in the bank, buy 5 cars, and you said it yourself. If you have $2 billion in the bank, buy 15, right? But when you're not prepared for an emergency, right? I don't care how much money you're making. If you're not prepared for an emergency, what are you doing buying so many cars, so many suits, right? Buying $1,500 dinners left and right.
Yeah.
It's like, so that was a big part of my life. But it all comes down to that I care too much of what people thought about me.
Yep.
So that is the thing that I'm taking from your keynote the most. And now I wanted to ask you, for the sake of giving value to everybody that's watching, is us, that we still need to master the art of not giving a fuck. How can, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I would agree. I think it's been an advantage of mine. I think, I was blessed with an innate amount of common sense, and common sense isn't very common, but I just realized that if I open my mouth and I cannot make everybody happy, you have to believe that. Like, you have to truly go, nothing I say is going to be okay, because you're going to piss this person off, or you're going to piss this person off. So no matter what you do and no matter what you say, you're going to piss someone off. So the only person that makes sense to worry about is you. Mm-hmm. So now I say things that I feel good about. So if you don't like them, that's okay with me, and here's why. Because the universe will filter people and a tribe the universe will filter this if you truly do it. You believe who you are. Obviously, you want to be a good person and be ethical and be, all the things that you think you should be, because everybody knows the difference between right and wrong. But once you believe that you're not going to make everyone happy and you start focusing on making yourself happy, right? Now, what you're going to start doing is causing the universe to get rid of people that shouldn't be around you, and causing people that should be around you to come into your life. Does that make sense? No. So pretty soon, dude, anyone that shouldn't be in your life will go away. Why? Well, because that's how the universe works. So if you be your authentic self, and you wake up and you're grateful every day, and you're truly yourself, and you speak from the heart, and you don't care what other people think, that's when the universe really starts rewarding you. Mm-hmm. So if you're already rewarded, like a lot of people are, caring, try not caring and see what happens. And a lot of people misunderstand it to be where you're just a dick. You don't care about people. I'm not saying don't care about people. I'm talking about don't let someone else's opinion change yours, right? So if you ask me my opinion on something, I'm going to give it to you. And if it offends you, I don't want to offend you, but if it offends you, I'm not going to all of a sudden change who I am because you don't like me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And nobody does that. So the first thing I do is teach people how to have confidence. Here's how I think people need to build their confidence. Number one, all their lives, people have lied to themselves, right? Let themselves down by procrastination. They've gotten themselves into trouble because they made the wrong choice here, or they said the wrong thing, or they lied, right? To somebody, screwed somebody over. Everybody's done it, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you knew somebody like me, if me and you hung out and we were buddies for a couple years and all I did was lie and all I did was procrastinate and all I did was not show up when you needed me, would you like me?
No.
So subconsciously, you've been doing that to yourself for years. You just aren't acknowledging it because it's you, but it doesn't matter. Your mind is still saying, you're not worth it. You're a piece of shit. I don't like you. And then, hey, let me drink this beer. Whoosh. Dude, that could be your subconscious mind saying, fuck you. So all of a sudden,
I cannot take any longer how you make me feel. And that's why I need to numb myself and get,
Yeah, exactly. So people start self-sabotaging their own success. I mean, everybody knows when they eat that donut, that's not good for me. Mm-hmm. Oh, but it tastes so good. Dude, it's bad for you. Nothing good is going to come from that donut, but yet people still stuff their face. I think part of my theory is because deep down, somewhere in the subconscious, which means you don't know what's happening. Like people are, I love myself. That's conscious decision. You might have a subconscious mechanism that says, no, you're a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. You constantly lie. You've never said what you're going to do. You've let me down 100 times. I don't like you. So in order to do that, just like if me and you were friends and I did it for years, what would I need to do in order to start to repair that? What's the first thing?
Be ethical, be honest.
No, I need to come to you and I need to apologize.
Oh, okay. You're doing yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
in order to clear that.
Yeah. So what people don't do is they say, okay, I'm going to make a change, but they don't apologize and get rid of the years of frickin' proof that you're a piece of shit. So the first step people need to do is forgive themselves. And then obviously truly mean it. Hey man, and they're talking to themselves. Totally unbelievably sorry for letting you down. Unbelievably sorry for not doing what I said I would do. And from this day forward, I vow to do everything I say I'm going to do. So if I say it, it's lock solid. Okay? So that's step one. Forgive yourself and then start doing everything you say you're going to do. Period. Doesn't matter what I tell him. What matters is what I tell me. Me. That's what matters. So now, all of a sudden, I start doing everything I'm going to do. I start setting goals. Even a goal like, I'm going to work out tomorrow. Well, fuck, if you say that at night, do not make a deal with yourself when you wake up and start rationalizing why you aren't going. How many times have we done that?
All the time.
Yeah, I do.
Do that continuously.
Yeah, I've done it a million times.
I'm not going to eat donuts anymore. I'm going to wake up early and go to the gym. So if you start the day not going to the gym and eating donuts, subconsciously, you don't think highly of yourself. You think you're a piece of shit and you don't have any strength. And
it'll
you
perpetuate.
Exactly. And you carry that through your relationships, at
everything,
work.
business.
Yeah, so it's so important to be ethical with yourself and do what you say you were going to do. And what I get from you, before we keep going on that subject that I wanted to share with you, is that, let's call it by not giving a fuck, right?
Yeah.
By not giving a fuck, what I'm getting is that you rescue yourself, first of all. And I love the example that you said, hey, if I'm myself, or even if I'm not myself, certain people are going to like you, others are not going to like you. So why not you just be yourself? So at least you rescue yourself and you can live with yourself, and you are gonna, like you said, get rid of the people that don't belong in your life, and then increase and grow your circle of people that does. So thank you. But that's you.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. People don't get that because I don't want to lose this person. I love this person. If that person doesn't love the real you and you're putting up a front so they don't leave your life, well, then you have to make sacrifices, because if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. You're going to give one up. Mm-hmm. I'll repeat that for the bomb squad. If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. Make sense?
I love that. That's a double bomb, man. That's for real. That's epic.
Well, you got to do
That's
it. So
everything.
again, I mean, there's going to be times where people are going to be like, damn, dude, this girl, I loved her and now she's leaving me. Well, dude, if she's leaving, it's supposed to happen. You're going to grow your tribe. You're going to grow the people that are going to support you. And the more support and love and, you know, that whole ecosystem, the bigger it gets, the better off you are. And people don't understand that, especially in relationships. Two people meet each other. Next thing you know, 3 years later, they're divorced. Why are they divorced? I'll tell you why. Because they didn't meet each other for 3 years. Okay? They met the best versions of them for the first 3 years. So you see the difference? So if you like
Then the real person comes.
eventually the real person always comes out. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like you're not gonna sustain a false relationship. So you might as well not even try it. At the end of the day, if like you're a drinker, let's say you're a drinker, you like to come home and have 3 drinks every night. Every night, that's what you like to do. Whatever, go home, have 3 drinks. You meet a girl. Well, I didn't drink because I didn't want her to think. See, and now I'm worried about what she's thinking again. So I stopped. I don't drink, which now she's thinking, oh, I like this guy. Well, she doesn't even know that I drink yet. So year goes by, starting to wear off. We get a little more comfortable with each other. And what do I start doing every night? Having my 3 drinks. And then she starts complaining. Why are you drinking all of a sudden? Why are you drinking so much? And now I'm like, why are you nagging so much? I didn't know you were you bitched and complained all the time. You didn't do that when we met. Why? Because it was the best version of her meeting the best version of me. And then when we got to know each other, we realized we don't like each other. That would dramatically decrease if everybody just stayed themselves. Like when you meet me, if I'm a drinker, you're going to know it from get-go. If I'm a cusser, I'm going to fucking drop an F-bomb walking right up to you. How the fuck are you, Sergio? Bradley here. Now, if you're like, oh my God, I cannot stand his language. The universe knows you shouldn't be around me. That's why I think there's 7 billion peoples, because everybody needs their tribe.
That makes so much sense. And that alone is material for a 2-day seminar. For people to understand that when you don't act righteously and authentically to who you really are, what you're doing is you're sabotaging yourself and giving away your life. Because the guy that wants to have the 3 drinks, right, he's going to be miserable every day at home with somebody he doesn't really connect with, right?
Yeah.
So the guy, what he's giving up, not a relationship, himself. He doesn't get to be happy and be himself. No, I'm telling you, that's a 2-day, 12-hour a day seminar.
Well, let's plan it. I'll come speak at your event.
Let's do it.
Because, dude, it's the truth, and it doesn't matter if you teach it or I teach it. At the end of the day, whoever hears it and understands it and implements it's going to have a much better life moving forward. But you got to start with yourself. Mm-hmm. See, that's why I start Closer School with mindset and being grateful. Because if your mind's not right, dude, I can teach all how to close deals like you wouldn't believe, and you'll go out there and be average. Why? Because your mindset's not right. You have to have the right perspective. You have to have the right attitude. You know, an attitude, for example, is a collection of beliefs. So if your beliefs are wrong, you're not going to do it right. You know how you change someone's behavior? Change their belief. People believe things which makes them behave certain ways. So if you want to change a behavior, like being lazy, they believe something to be lazy. So you have to change what they believe in order to change their behavior. Make sense?
Dude.
Yeah, so you just gotta work. You gotta work on those, and then you gotta fix yourself first. I'll give you an example. Why is the guy drinking 3 times a day in the first place? He gets home, well, I just like it. Okay, well, again, that's why I said if you drink, drink. But because if someone just enjoys drinking, like I enjoy golfing, well, then fucking drink. Like, dude, make yourself happy. Don't worry about what your parents say, and don't worry about what. Now, again, if you're 14 years old, you don't necessarily get the right to choose. I'm talking about full-grown adults that have total control over their lives. If you want to do something, you should embrace it. Now, when it comes to harmful things, you should probably figure out why is it you're harming yourself. And you're going to go right back to what I said earlier. Because deep down, you don't fucking like yourself. And it may be because your dad said to you, you're never going to amount to shit. It might have been
the limiting belief.
Right.
That's ingrained.
Exactly.
And that you carry with you.
And you don't even know you're carrying
and
it.
affects without you knowing and creates a state of confusion. Like you don't realize, but that's there, right? And affects every area of your life and every interaction.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Whenever you hear self-doubt, like people are talking to themselves, they always think to themselves, man, you're not good enough for that. They'll listen in their own head and they'll hear, you're not good enough, or you're going to quit. You'll never be able to make it.
Yeah.
And if you start thinking in your head and you hear the word you, think about what you would say to yourself. You wouldn't say you. You'd say I. So a lot of times when you hear, and you're gonna give up, that's somebody else talking in your past. That's that subconscious data that's been put in there. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it said you. You're you, dude. You wouldn't say you. You'd say I. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that self-talk, when you start catching yourself, because I used to do it and I caught myself and I'm like, I wasn't saying I am going to give up. I would say, you're going to give up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're not going to make it. You're not going to fucking stick with it. Dude, you're not going to fucking last 90
why
days.
Try? Yeah. Why
yeah,
try?
Dude, you might as well give up. And I started, because in order to catch it, I had to catch it. So I was aware of when I was doing it. And sure enough, dude, it kept saying you. And I started to think, fuck, dude, that's not me talking. That's somebody else talking in my past. That's some sort of subconscious information that I got from some outside source talking to me. So I started just to block that shit out every day, start believing in myself. Mm-hmm. But you can't believe in yourself until you've proven to yourself, because you've spent years lying to yourself. So you have to, A, forgive yourself. B, start making sure that you will do what you say. 3, set some goals that you can achieve, because confidence comes from experience of winning. You know what I mean? If you and I are about to go play ping pong and you've won 1 million games, dude, you're pretty confident that you're going to win. Why? Because you remember winning.
Yeah.
Okay. So in order to build that confidence, depending on how low your self-esteem is, in order to build that confidence, you want to set some goals. Hey, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and be at the gym by 8. Dude, you better fucking kill somebody if you have to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
so important.
Even
so
little
important.
goals. People think there has to be some big win, like, oh, I need to make $1 million a year. No, you don't, dude. You just need to start winning. Your brain, your mind, your subconscious, it doesn't know a big win from a little win, bro. It just knows that you're winning. It just knows win. And all of a sudden, 2-3 months later, it's like, dude, you do what you say you're going to do. And you start sitting up a little taller and you start sounding a little different. And people start saying, dude, what's different about you? And they'll say it like, dude, you changed something. And it's like, no, you just start actually liking yourself. Here's another thing. If you won the lottery for 100 million, would you be pumped?
Yes.
Would you be excited all day long?
I think I'll be stoked.
All day long?
Yes.
Okay. Now, would you rather win the lottery or live?
Live.
Okay, so every morning you wake up and find out you got another day.
Oh, dude.
Right? Every morning people wake up, they realize, opening in their eyes,
I like that a lot.
that they get another day, and nobody's going through life excited. Like, are you fucking nuts? If I gave you 100 million, you'd freak the hell out. But I'm telling you, you get another chance to live, and nobody gets excited. So one of the things I got myself doing is every morning I wake up, it is better than the lottery. It's better than the lottery.
I'm taking that with me, dude. That's huge.
It is huge.
We have the single biggest thing we could want is ours. And because it's ours, we don't acknowledge it, recognize it, and appreciate it. Dude, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's so, never saw it that way.
What's funny?
We should be stoked constantly. I'm stoked constantly because I've wired myself that way.
Me too.
Yeah, I condition myself that way, but dude, that is huge.
But see, you'll take that knowledge, you'll go share it with people.
Yeah.
You could grow a whole huge business off that one thing.
That's a book and that's a seminar.
Because when people wake up in the morning and they start thinking, I gotta go to work again. Oh, I gotta go deal with Billy. Like, are you fucking out of your mind, dude? You just got another chance. You got some really good news.
I have that conversation with my wife all the time. Baby, why do you complain so much? Like, look at your life. Like, sometimes I will like, hey, I want to bring up perspective. Look at your life.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Right?
Dude,
But
and not only that, but and your wife's probably having a good life, so she just definitely needs some perspective. But there's people out there with pretty fucked up lives compared to some of us, and they still should be happy. Like I always say, dude, there's no such thing as a bad day. No. Every day's good. The question is how good will it get?
Do you know who's the happiest people I've ever met?
Who?
It also happened to be the poorest. No joke. And an Argentinian poet said, happiness is closer to it's close in poverty. So
have you heard of this one? It's happiness is not getting what you want. It's wanting what you get.
Nice.
That's pretty interesting.
Dude, I need to go. There's people waiting for me. I need to go to LA immediately. This is awesome. I want to keep it going.
Well, next time you come to town, we'll have you on a longer podcast.
Yeah, we can just,
Folks, go follow Sergio Bruna on Instagram. He's a funny dude. Fucking brings value. He's a real dude. He's trying to bring value. He ain't trying to sell you a bunch of shit, although he's a salesman. So am I, though. And you just heard him. I didn't try to sell anybody shit.
And you should be a salesman, too.
Everybody should. Yeah. Everybody should. Folks, if you're listening to this, you are a salesperson. You just don't know it. The question is do you want to get good at it? Because all the highest paid people in the world, 100% fact, go Google it, are salespeople. Sales is the highest paid profession on earth. And you are one. You're just not good at it. If you want to get good at it, by the way, I did open Closer School, closerschool.com, $397 right now. It's $997 normally, but $397 right now, and it's lifetime. I'm not going to crack you every year or every month. It's $397. We're going to do live Facebook sessions, Q&As all the time. I'm dropping content in there left and right that I've learned over 50 years. And I'm bringing in people like Sergio and Grant Cardone and frickin' Tim Grover and Damon John. I'm bringing in all kinds of experts to come in there as well. So get it if you want to get it. And if you don't, just hashtag Bomb Squad, share it out to the world, make sure everyone downloads the podcast so people can still can try to get some knowledge dropped on them. Till next time, kids. Hey, thanks for coming in, Sergio.
Anytime, man.
Peace.
And for people, get trained, get better. You can.
Where do they follow you? I mean, where can they get help from you?
The Sergio Bruna, THE Sergio Bruna on Instagram.
Yeah, and
I have a website.
Do you have training and coaching now?
Yes, I do. But I'm putting this together that I want to launch properly. So no, absolutely. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah, well, guys, I can tell you, I got good judge character. This cat's the real deal, Holyfield. Until next time.